The diner breathed like it held its own soul, filled with the perfume of coffee, the scrape of forks, and the soft hum of laughter that rolled like music under the low neon lights. Outside, the sky glowed gold and crimson, but inside, something darker was about to unfold. A test of humanity, a test of love, and the kind of moment that would be whispered about long after the dishes stopped clattering. At the corner booth sat Grace Holloway, 7 months pregnant, her hands resting on her belly like a promise. She'd come here alone, chasing a ghost of memory. This diner was where she and her husband, Cole, once spent nights talking about dreams bigger than the road. He used to walk in with that confident smile, leather jacket slung across his shoulder, smelling of gasoline, rain, and rebellion. But life had changed since then. Cole had left the Hells Angels, left the chaos, the fights, the long roads soaked in rage. He'd promised Grace peace, a home, a life where their baby wouldn't grow up watching bruised knuckles and broken bottles. Grace believed him, because love made her believe in things she couldn't always see. That day, though, peace was far away. She sat quietly, her mind wandering to him, to the sound of his voice, when a shadow loomed over her table. Brad, the waiter, wore a smirk that carried a cruelty disguised as charm. He didn't like that she'd asked to reheat her pancakes. His pride, fragile as glass, cracked under her calm tone. "You think this is some fancy cafe?" he muttered, his voice sharp enough to cut. Grace blinked, startled but polite. "No, sir, I just wanted them warm. That's all." Her tone was gentle, but to Brad, it felt like defiance. When he returned, he brought not warmth, but humiliation. With a flick of his wrist and a sneer on his lips, he spilled an entire glass of cold water across her chest. The diner gasped. The liquid soaked through her blouse, clinging to her skin, dripping onto her belly. Time seemed to stop. A cruel laugh echoed from the back, followed by another and another. Grace froze. The sound stabbed deeper than any knife could. Her breath hitched, her cheeks flushed, and tears pooled in her eyes. She didn't cry out. She didn't shout. She just sat there, trembling, trying to hold herself together while laughter filled the room. Some looked away in pity, others sipped their coffee pretending not to see, and a few watched with detached amusement, their humanity long since numbed. Grace's hands trembled as she reached for a napkin, trying to dry herself, but her belly made it awkward. That's when the bell above the door jingled and everything changed. The laughter died instantly. Boots thudded against the black and white tiles, the rhythm steady and heavy. 5 men stepped in, the late afternoon sun casting their shadows long across the floor. Leather vests, chains glinting, patches that read, "Hell's Angels." But at the front, Cole Holloway, the man Grace loved, the man who'd sworn to bury the violence inside him. His eyes, once soft, turned cold the moment he saw her. His wife, soaked, shaking, surrounded by shame. The air grew tight. The silence was alive. Every customer felt it like pressure behind their ribs. Cole's jaw flexed once before he moved. He didn't speak at first. He just walked. Slow, measured, controlled. That silence was more terrifying than any shout could have been. Brad's confidence drained out of him like spilled coffee. His hands twitched, his mouth opening with some weak attempt at humor, but the sound never came. Cole reached the booth, crouched slightly, and brushed Grace's hair from her face. His voice cracked with a gentleness that carried fury beneath it. "You okay, sweetheart?" Grace's lips trembled. "I'm fine, Cole. Please don't—" He stood before she could finish. His gaze cut through Brad like fire through paper. "That's my wife," he said, each word slow and heavy. Brad tried to smile, to explain, but the words tangled in his throat. One of Cole's biker brothers, an older man named Hawk, stepped closer, his boots scuffing the floor. "You made a mistake, boy," he said, his tone almost pitying. Cole didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He picked up the wet glass, still dripping onto the counter, and placed it in Brad's shaking hand. "Go ahead," Cole said quietly. "Laugh again." Brad's fingers tightened around the glass, his eyes darting to the door, to his co-workers, to anyone who could save him. But no one moved. Grace rose to her feet, her wet clothes clinging to her, and she placed a trembling hand on Cole's arm. "Please," she whispered. "Don't do this, not here. Not like this." Her words carried more power than any threat. Cole's shoulders softened. His rage didn't vanish, but it bent, reshaped by the strength of the woman he loved. Slowly, he pulled off his leather vest, that symbol of his old life, and draped it around her shoulders. "Let's go," he murmured. Grace leaned against him, her eyes glistening with quiet dignity. As they turned toward the door, the rest of the diner could only watch, their hearts heavy with shame. But one biker, the older one, paused by Brad's table. His weathered face looked down at the young man with something that wasn't quite anger. "You'll remember this," he said softly, "'cause someday you'll need mercy too." Then they were gone. Leather, thunder, and silence. The bell jingled one last time, and all that remained was the hum of the refrigerator and the sound of water still dripping from the table. Brad stood there long after everyone left, staring at the wet floor. That night he didn't sleep. He saw Grace's eyes every time he closed his own. Not angry, not vengeful, just deeply hurt and impossibly kind. Something inside him cracked. Days passed. He came to work quiet, slower, humbled. He stopped joking cruelly, stopped mocking customers, started noticing the little things, the tiredness in people's faces, the stories behind their silence. Guilt has a way of teaching empathy that no lecture ever could. Months later, on a gray morning heavy with rain, the doorbell chimed again. Brad turned, towel in hand, and froze. Grace Holloway walked in, her belly gone, replaced by the soft bundle of a sleeping baby cradled against her chest. She wore a simple dress, her hair tied back, peace written all over her face. For a second, Brad thought about hiding in the kitchen, but something stronger made him stay. He walked over, his hands shaking slightly, and placed a steaming cup of coffee in front of her. "On the house," he said quietly. "And I'm sorry. For that day. For everything." Grace looked at him for a long moment, the sound of the rain filling the silence. Then she smiled, not out of pity but understanding. "We all stumble," she said softly. "What matters is if we choose to stand again." Her words lingered longer than the smell of coffee. Brad nodded, swallowing hard. "Thank you," he whispered, meaning it more than he'd ever meant anything. Grace touched the cup, took a sip, and looked around the diner that once held her humiliation. It looked different now, softer. Maybe it wasn't the place that changed. Maybe it was the people. Outside, the rain began to ease, sunlight peeking through clouds. Grace stood, adjusting her baby in her arms, ready to leave. But as she reached the door, Brad called out, his voice breaking slightly. "Ma'am, he's lucky to have you." Grace turned, smiling faintly. "No," she said. "I'm lucky to have him, and to have learned that even pain can grow something good." She pushed open the door, and the sound of motorcycles echoed faintly down the street. Parked by the curb was a single leather jacket, folded neatly on the seat of Cole's bike. Grace paused, brushing her fingers across it before riding away into the fading rain. Inside, Brad stood by the counter, eyes following her until she disappeared. He picked up the same glass he'd once used to humiliate her, filled it with water, and set it before an elderly man who'd just come in, smiling softly as he said, "Welcome in, sir." The man smiled back, and something healed a little more. From that day forward, the diner carried a different kind of hum, not of mockery or ego, but of second chances, kindness, and quiet redemption. And if you ever stopped there on a rainy afternoon, you'd see a framed picture near the counter, a photo of a smiling couple on a motorcycle. The words beneath it reading, "Strength and gentleness can live in the same heart." The world outside might stay cruel, but inside that little diner, kindness had taken root one act at a time. And maybe, just maybe, that's how the world changes. Not through grand gestures, but through small human ones that remind us what love truly looks like. So if this story touched you, share it. Because kindness, once shown, has a way of finding its way back, sometimes when we least deserve it, and always when we need it most.